hope that everyone's journey was safe, like ours was from Plainview this morning. Had to interrupt my Sunday school class this morning. We didn't start to drive over here, but I hope everyone's week has gone well. Anybody have any announcements or concerns that we need to talk about today?
I have one. I did talk to Jeannie Pinnell Thursday, and she had gone and done her MRI and gone and seen the doctor. It was definitely some kind of I don't want to say bone spur, but something like that, I guess, in her spine. That was, they think, pretty sure that's what's causing it. Gave her some medication, and this was Thursday, and she said she had one of those episodes on Tuesday or Wednesday and was doing okay that morning, Thursday. So she was finally gotten some relief. So she was very grateful that she wasn't feeling like that anymore. So she was doing good. I want y'all to know, be thinking about her still and praying for her and reaching out, because I know she enjoys it.
Shelley Williams needs to be in our prayers. She's has pneumonia and is going to a rheumatologist.
Glasses keep fogging up. Yeah.
Chris saw Julia's family in Walmart this week and proved that Span's doing so much better. He did a little dance. It was quite impressive. They were going the next day to Lubbock to the doctor to find out about the reading of Julie's MRI. And so I haven't heard from them whether they what they found out about it.
Some of you may remember Ashley McCutcheon. She's a Cleveland student, graduated a year ago. She's entered with us some. She just called and asked for prayers for her and for her fiance, Josh Lynn. That she said there's just some stuff going on that they would appreciate some prayers, family stuff.
Yep.
This is going to start chemo again probably this next week.
Dale Bellamy told me to tell all y'all hi.
I spoke with Tammy last night. Tammy called home. Bill is doing very well. They're home. Go back tomorrow to the doctor for follow-up and to get the staples removed. They will put him in a cast. He cannot put any weight on his ankle for 4 to 5 weeks. Then they will put him in a walking boot and start physical therapy. Recovery's going really well, and he's in good spirits. So keep him in prayers too.
For ourselves for worship. Join me in prayer. Steadfast God, you greet us as a loving parent and patiently love us beyond all measure. Great is your faithfulness. May we offer that same kindness to all whom we encounter, knowing it is Christ, whom we greet when we welcome others. Amen. Please join me in the call to worship. God calls us to step forth in faith.
Respond, Lord, here I am.
Jesus sends us out to live in faith.
We trust that the Lord will provide.
Please be seated. Could bow your heads and pray, please. All of us who have been baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death. Our old selves were crucified with him so that we might be slaves to sin no more. Trusting in God's grace, let us confess our sin. O Lord, our God, we confess that we do not reflect your glory. You deliver us from death to life, but we live as though we are slaves to sin. You welcome us in Christ, but we fail to welcome others. Forgive us, restore, and reorder our lives by the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ. Help us to live in faith and faithfulness, responding to your call, here I am, to the glory of your holy name. Hear us now as we offer our own silent confession. This is the sound of your redemption. Remember your baptism. In the waters of our baptism, we are bound to Christ in life and death by the power of the Holy Spirit. If we have died with Christ, we will also live with him. We are dead to sin, but alive to God in Jesus Christ. In the name of Jesus Christ, we are forgiven. Thanks be to God. Now join me in the prayer of illumination. Breath of God, breathe among us with surprising words. May our hearts burn with your truth, our minds blaze with your wisdom, and our lives be afire with your love. Amen. Our Old Testament reading today is from Genesis, chapter 22, verses 1 through 14. It is a familiar story to most of us, but typically a bit perplexing for everyone. Many of us, in fact, that probably don't really understand it at all. Please listen now for the word from God on this day. After these things, God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham. And Abraham said, Here I am. He said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I shall show you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled the donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and his son Isaac. He cut the wood for the burnt offering, and set out and went to the place in the distance that God had shown him. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place far away. Then Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. So the 2 of them walked on together. Isaac said to his father Abraham, Father. And he said, Here I am, my son. He said, The fire and the wood are here, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Abraham said, God himself will provide the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So the 2 of them walked on together. When they came to the place that God had shown, Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. He said, Do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld even your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in the thicket by its horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called the place, The Lord will provide, as it is said to this day, On the mount of the Lord it shall be provided. Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Thanks be to God.
Testament reading today is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 40 through 42. As Christ was instructing the disciples of long ago, so he instructs us. Hear with fresh ears this lesson from the Gospel. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward.
If you looked in the bulletin, by the way, this is cool, y'all should do this. I may have to take my readers off though, it kind of messes up looking down. It's almost as much fun to come up with a title for this thing as it is to come up with a sermon. I really, it had an alternate name, and I kind of wanted to put them together, but it didn't fit on the line. But it's basically, you be a welcome mat, or be a water boy, water girl, water person. So it's kind of fitted really well, I thought. But for scripture, I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read it from the Message. And sometimes I like how he puts his spin on it. Eugene Peterson does, but this one I thought was interesting. So we are intimately linked in this harvest work. Anyone who accepts what you do accepts me. The one who sent you. Anyone who accepts what I do accepts my Father who sent me. Accepting a messenger of God is as good as being God's messenger. Accepting someone's help is as good as giving someone help. This is a large work I've called you into, but don't be overwhelmed. It's best to start small. Give a cool cup of water to someone who is thirsty, for instance. The smallest act of giving or receiving makes you a true apprentice. You won't lose out on a thing. I thought that was especially appropriate. In this context here in Scripture, chapter 10, Jesus is getting the disciples ready to send them out. He's giving them the marching orders. And remember, it names them at the very first, for the first time here in Matthew. He's told them not to take anything with them. They won't need to take money, clothes, food. Jesus tells them to travel light. All they need is 3 meals a day. And by the way, he tells them that they are worth more than many sparrows. I think that's kind of funny. Not a lot of sparrows, but many sparrows. I don't know how many sparrows that is, but still, you're worth more than many sparrows. I've always thought that was funny. Not all the sparrows, but many sparrows. And then Jesus warns them of the opposition they'll face. Maybe the disciples were starting to second guess this kingdom work. It may not be as cool as they thought. They may have been healing the sick and casting out demons and raising the dead, but they're also going to be called names and be rejected. And some of the names were not nice, I'm sure. Lastly, Jesus tells them that anyone who welcomes the disciples is welcoming him. And if someone welcomes him, they are welcoming the Father. Accepting a messenger of God is as good as being a messenger of God yourself. Maybe this is where the disciples were thinking, this is the logic I face. As I'm sitting there going, well, if receiving a messenger of God is as good as being a messenger of God, maybe I should have stayed at home. I could have welcomed him. But that was my thinking. You probably don't think that way at all. Which leads us to our topic today. How do you feel about being a disciple of Christ? I know sometimes I personally am overwhelmed by what I think are the expectations. I know deep in my heart we're not supposed to compare ourselves to others, but that doesn't mean we don't do it. And when I look at the list of things the first disciples were given to do, I find myself coming up a little short. Go back and look in verses 5 through 8 in this chapter. Jesus sent his 12 harvest hands out with this charge. Don't begin by traveling to some far-off place to convert unbelievers. And don't try to be dramatic by tackling some public enemy. Go to the lost, confused people right here in our neighborhood. Tell them that the kingdom is here. Bring health to the sick. Raise the dead. Touch the untouchables. Kick out the demons. You've been treated generously, so live generously. That's a tall order. I don't know about y'all, but when I read that, I'm like, oh. In fact, the first one, go to the lost, confused, and tell them the kingdom is here. That's tough. Bring the health to the sick. That's tough. This one's really almost impossible to be able to get this one. Raise the dead. I think I'm pulling that one off. Touch the untouchables. Kick out demons. Live generously. What a list. When I look at that list, I'm not sure if I feel confident. If I do any of them, let's do any of them well. And I hate to say I'm not sure who the lost and confused are. I know some of my students are confused. I don't know about lost, but sometimes they're confused. That confusion might be leading to being lost. And as I ramble through this, I even have a note to myself, be sure to get back to the point, Gene. So just in case, I can always have a tendency. I follow the rabbit, the anticoluthan. I finally learned that word. I do pray for those who are sick, but I'm not sure I bring help. I know I've never raised anybody from the dead. That's a sure thing. I don't even have to worry about that one. That one's way safe. I try not to touch anyone, especially now, so I don't know that I'm touching the untouchables. I haven't kicked out any demons recently, or if ever. Live generously. Now that leads to a funny story. One of the first times that Ladina met my mother warned Ladina, was talking about living generously. Ladina, that I was tight. I don't think she said miserly, but there was definitely a reference to me being cheap. So let's say I don't live generously. So when I look at the list, I seem to be a failure all around. I don't ever seem to be able to get there. But I'm so thankful for verses 40 through 42 of this chapter, because Jesus leads me with hope. What do I have to do? Well, depending on the version you're reading, the word that stands out to me is when it's talking about, when you welcome me, you welcome the Father. Some versions say when you accept, that's what Eugene Peterson uses, and some of them say receive. The concept is there that you become someone who welcomes. Welcome. Welcome. Maybe I can welcome. Yes, there is hope. Not everyone can be the quarterback or the star pitcher. Someone has to be the water boy, water girl, water person. So see, I think I can maybe do that. Being a disciple may be as easy as welcoming a stranger. Having an open heart and an open mind. Being open to seeing needs and meeting those needs. If I welcome or accept a messenger of God, I am a messenger of God. Accepting someone's help is as good as giving someone help. Jesus tells us to start small. This is a large work He's called us to, but I don't need to be overwhelmed by it. It's just better to start small. Give a cool cup of water to someone who's thirsty. And even that smallest act of giving and receiving makes me a true apprentice. Makes you a true apprentice. You don't lose out on anything. Think of it. Welcome. Sometimes it's just too easy. Welcome. I've told this story many times, and I'm sure I've done it in Sunday school and everywhere else too, because it's one of those things that left such an impression on me. But I think it's worth repeating today, and the story works in the context. And to support my teaching habit, I did entomology work on the side. So a lot of interesting things happen when you're out there in the field. Things go crazy, things happen. You never know when you're out there looking for bugs, what's going to come along besides the bugs. And on this particular hot summer day in the middle of the afternoon, I've been checking lane garbage cotton. It's the field on the corner of Highway 207 and Farmer Market 145. Some of y'all probably know exactly where that is. But if if you're from Silverton, you know this is called Four Corners. It's probably how we're simple people. But anyway, in Four Corners is about 4 miles. Well, I guess it's exactly 4 miles south directly of Silverton. And here I am, I'm beside the highway where pickups parked, and coming out of the field. And as I come out, there's a car that's over there on 145 at the stop sign. And then they start coming toward me, where I was, which was probably only 50 yards from the stop sign. I was just right there by the highway where the pickups parked. And the car was a small sedan, and you're always kind of weird about this anyway, people driving up on you that you don't know. And there were 3 people in the car, and there was a man and 2 women. When they pulled up beside me, the man explained that the air conditioner was not working. And of course, this is one of those hot days. I mean, there's no telling how hot it was that day, but it was hot. When they pulled up beside me, told me the air conditioner was not working. They'd been traveling from New Mexico, and they were headed to Childress. In the heat of the day, no air conditioner, the windows rolled down. They were headed to one of the hottest places I know of, Childress, Texas. He explained they were very thirsty and wanted to know if I had any water. Well, of course I did. I always carried at least a half-gallon thermos with me all the time. Plus, during this part of the summer, all the wells were running. Everybody's watered. So they quickly gulped down that thermos, and then I was able to go to the well, get some more water for them, filled it back up, and take some more water. And that experience has stayed with me for years because I don't know that I've ever done ministry. I don't know if I've ever ministered, but that day I gave away a cup of cool water. And it would have been just as easy just to jump in my pickup and driven away because I didn't know who was there. But this time I was, I guess, welcoming. I welcomed. I didn't close the door. I didn't drive away. I gave away that little cup of water. I may not raise the dead, bring healing, or kick out demons, but I can welcome. And my welcome may be as simple as providing a cool cup of water. So as you go through this week, as we go through this week, in these strange times, let's be the welcome mat. Thanks be to God. Would you stand and join me in the affirmation of faith? I believe in God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Ghost, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead, and buried. He descended into hell. The third day he arose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven, and sitteth on the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From thence he shall come to judge the wicked and the dead. I believe in the Holy Ghost, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting. Amen.
Please be seated. Please bow to the prayers of the people. Oh, holy God, we know you call us to faithful lives. You send us as emissaries, both in the stories of Holy Scripture and in the lives of people we meet. We give thanks for the brave proclaimers of truth, the tireless workers against injustice, and the quiet heroes of goodness who respond to your call by saying, "Here I am." And yet we hesitate. We confess our own fear of speaking up. We confess our exhaustion in the struggle. We confess our fear of seeming different from our friends and neighbors. Help us to welcome your messengers, no matter what the word may be and what the world may be. Help us to open more than our doors, to offer more than a cup of water. Help us to open our hearts to your word. Help us to offer our lives for your way. Give us the courage to take the next step, to follow where you lead, and to live lives that testify to your truth. Make us the engineers of your world in the world, the protesters for peace, the provokers of justice, the agitators of love, and the instigators of mercy. We ask all these things in the name of Jesus Christ, who taught us to pray, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. During this time when we would normally be passing the plate, we won't be passing them today, but they are available as you leave the worship center and out in the narthex. You may also mail a contribution to the church. You're encouraged to give to the mission and ministry of the church as you are able, be it by time and talent or with monetary means. For it all comes from God, and we are only returning a portion in gratitude for all we have received. Astonishing and generous Spirit, you have showered your gifts upon us. Now we offer our lives to be transformed, made new, and given in love for the world. In Jesus' name, amen. Go now in peace, and may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all, now and forevermore. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad it worked out.
Bye-bye. Feel, oh, sure.
Yes, Scott, thank you.
Feel better, Kim.
we've been told that we're taking